Hello, I am here with Skyler Christian Schlenker, who plays our male villager in What the Horse Eats. Hi, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing all right. All right, so the first question I have for you today is what excites you about performing this new opera?
Well, I think I'm so excited by the challenge of performing a new piece, something that's, totally new, no one has ever done before, and something that I really just get to tackle myself. It's very exciting.
Oh, absolutely. Are there any challenges that you find interesting in the score?
Well, yes. I think it's fascinating to learn a new musical language and to really delve into what the composer's intentions are and what they're trying to communicate with this piece, because it hasn't been expressed before. It's especially challenging.
Right. That sounds really exciting. Are there any like extended techniques or something, or is it in the tonality of the piece that it kind of brings out the newness of the story?
Well, I think you really just have to get down to the building blocks of the piece and really because everything is so specific, you have to be very precise. So it's just a lot of repetition. It's a lot of building the piece from the bones of the piece up, and then beginning to explore sort of ideas of tonality, how the tonality works within the piece, what kind of bombastic elements, how things combine with the story. I'm a dramatist myself. One of my degrees is in drama. So I'm very drawn to some of the absurdist and postmodern themes within his work.
Oh, that sounds so exciting.
Yeah.
What about the character you play? You're the male villager. What are your thoughts about the character?
I think that the male and female villager are there to help us make sense of the story in a way that, if you can make sense of this story, because it is absurd. I mean, it is something that is so jarring and difficult to make sense of, but an important time in our history, and a time, not only an important time, but an important place in our history, and a story that hasn't been told in this light before. So I think that the male villager is really there just to um, come to some moral conclusions and maybe be a little bit sarcastic and a counter to some of the protagonists and sort of the villain in this story.
Ooh, what kind of things are countered there? Is it the views or is it through the music? What is that difference?
Well, the commander in this story is quite insane and just sort of a villain. And his actions don't really make a lot of sense. His commentary, the horse will eat what is eaten, what belongs to him, is one of the most absurd logical moral conclusions I've ever heard. So I think that the counter to that is almost a kind of sarcasm or sort of sarcastic attitude, or maybe yeah, in a way, I think that the male villager is the most grounded of the characters, just because, and along with um, some of the other characters in the story, but I think he's sort of a grounding rod, if you will.
Kind of get that touch on reality that brings the
Right.
rest of us into that story. That sounds like so much fun to bring to life. All right, so when you're singing this character, how do you feel that the music provokes the character that you're playing?
That is a great question. And as I continue to delve into this piece, I think I'd be a little bit more prepared to answer that. But I can't wait to talk with the composer about sort of more of his intention, specifically with the male villager, and what he was trying to accomplish.
Absolutely. Well, that sounds so fascinating, and I cannot wait to see you on stage.